Neuralink's recent showcase of their brain chip has made this new age of technology seem that much more real. In the oddly low-quality livestream, a man who is paralyzed from the neck down is able to control a computer cursor purely with his mind. Musk likens it to telepathy, but is it really the superpower he says it is? Or is it a marketing term to hide the true implications of what this technology could mean? If you've seen Black Mirror or even really thought about brain chips, you'll know there's some dark possibilities associated with the idea. But as we've seen recently, Neuralink and other brain chip companies have been quick to focus on the medical potential. It's obviously true that there's some amazing things this can do. Neuralink's latest livestream is proof of that. You can see the effect this technology is having in restoring the faculties and freedom that we take for granted, but that some people have lost.
Playing chess, and so this is one of the things that y'all have enabled me to do, something that I wasn't able to really do much the last few years, especially not like this. I had to use like a mouse stick and stuff, but now it's all being done with my brain. If y'all can see the cursor moving around the screen, that's all me, y'all. It's pretty cool, huh?
Actually, can you pause this on just for the audio coming through?
But how does this even work? It sounds like something straight out of 1984. And medical things aside, how does a brain chip in your brain allow you to restore your mental faculties? Well, right now, these chips, which are around the size of a quarter, can only read information and transmit it to an outside source. After being surgically attached to the brain, the chip sensors detect neuron activity and translate it into a digital signal. This can then be sent to external devices, which is what's been happening in the live stream. We see Nolan, the man in the video, playing chess by using the experimental chip. As he imagines where the cursor should go next, it responds to his thoughts and moves across the screen. It's excellent progress considering the first human trials only started at the turn of the year, just a few months before the live stream. You can imagine the possibilities beyond this though, like controlling other devices like wheelchairs or anything else really, to walking again with prosthetics or even repairing the connection to people's own limbs. In fact, this is something we've already started to see from Swiss researchers that Musk has funded. In the middle of May of 2023, a neural chip implanted into a paralyzed man enabled him to walk again for the first time. One chip in his brain records the signals sent by motor neurons in his brain. This then links to a similar chip in his spine, which sends electrical signals to the nerves in his legs. Over a long period of training, Oskam, who was paralyzed for over a decade, can suddenly walk again. The results are absolutely miraculous and incredibly promising for the future.
For more than a decade, Gert-Jan Oskam has been trying to relearn to walk. A motorbike accident in his late 20s left him paralyzed from the hips down, changing his life forever. But now, Oskam is back on his feet, thanks to groundbreaking digital implants in his brain and his spine.
After 2 days, within 5 to 10 minutes, I could control my hips.
Although obviously it's still highly experimental and there's a few caveats. Can't be used constantly, only for a few hours a week, but it's still worlds away from nothing at all. And in this sense, Neuralink is amazing. Technology like this in the right hands and treated with great care can change the lives of millions of people for the better. But this is just a tiny part of Neuralink. You see, even Elon Musk has admitted that this isn't the primary purpose of Neuralink.
Even in a benign scenario, we're kind of left behind. You know, we're not along for the ride. We're just too dumb.
Right.
So how do you go along for the ride? Yeah, it's like you can't beat him, join him.
The real purpose, the true core fundamental reason, is for humanity's battle against AI. But of course, this isn't a very marketable idea. Telling people that they need to be plugged in to Elon Musk's brain chip to fight off AI just seems so ridiculous. And so right now, Neuralink and similar companies are focusing solely on medical research because this will be the only acceptable way they can make this technology mainstream in the first place. Because as the technology gets better, it'll see far more use to treat patients with nerve damage and other medical issues. But at some point, it'll pass the barrier from being a medical tool into a genuine consumer product, just like an iPhone. And you can be absolutely sure that that's what Elon Musk and others like him have in mind. They openly admit it.
And we're already a cyborg to some degree, right? Because you've got your phone, you've got your laptop,
Glasses.
your electronic devices.
Yeah.
You might expect it to not offer much to able-bodied individuals. Our hands and our senses are easily able to do all the things that we can imagine that these neural chips will help with. Right now, there seemingly isn't much point, or any need, to beam a news article or a TikTok video straight into your brain, especially if reading it is far easier and far more natural. let alone way less dystopian. In the same way, it seems like a hassle to get chipped and play computer chess with your mind when a mouse and keyboard can do the same job. Having a hole drilled into your head and a brain chip implanted there doesn't seem like the funnest idea, let alone by a private company looking to make a profit. And God knows how they'll try and monetize this. Adverts directly beamed into your brain, your innermost thoughts sent off and monitored by foreign governments. And this is why tech billionaires and investors are going all in on this technology, because once properly developed, it'll tear down the last barrier between the brain and the digital world. So let's go into this further through the lens of communication. Before telecommunications and all the innovations of the past few hundred years, you only really had two options for conveying complex information. Either you could say something to someone if they were close enough, or you could write them a letter. It could take weeks or even months for information to travel long distances. As time went on though, we slowly figured out faster and better methods, and that delay got cut down to almost nothing. Fast forward to today, and the internet means we can know about things happening across the world within literal seconds of them happening. In fact, the travel of information is so seamless and instant that we're assaulted with it at nearly every waking moment. So many of our experiences and the information we gain about the world is no longer from the actual world around us. Instead, it comes from this new digital dimension that we've been submerged in. It still isn't a perfect connection though, as Mark Zuckerberg has lamented in his appearance on Joe Rogan.
I mean, it's great to be able to make phone calls and video calls and all that. I mean, if you can't be with someone today, you know, it's nice to be able to see their face, but when you're on a video call, you don't actually feel like you're there with the person.
Some people might say it's good to keep at least one foot in reality, but that's not the future being pushed by the people with real control over the world. They want a seamless connection so they can have more influence over people's lives, and therefore make way more money. The further we go into the digital realm, the more reliant we are on their products and inventions. Zuckerberg wants to make the illusion stronger and suck people in further through the use of virtual reality and the metaverse. The more immersive the experience, the more effective it is as a product, but Neuralink threatens to go one step further. Once they've solved the problem of giving information to the brain rather than just receiving it, that's the last hurdle to jump over. We'll be able to express our thoughts to other people and get theirs back within milliseconds.
You would be able to communicate very quickly and with far more precision.
Online content will get sent straight to your brain, and it will become like a sixth sense, enabling people to open up their minds and fully connect them to the digital world. This connection with the digital world isn't necessarily a good thing. If you thought people weren't really paying attention to the world around them before, this will be yet another step in that direction. At least today, there's still the barrier of taking your phone out of your pocket and everyone knows you're not listening. With the neural implants of the future, it will be pretty much impossible for internet addicts to resist being online 24/7. Apart from making people annoying to talk to though, this interconnection would only make the worst kinds of internet groupthink more common. It'll mean people are truly replacing their own thoughts with information given to them by the internet. Our brains naturally take the easy route whenever there's an option. It's an evolutionary adaptation designed to save calories and prevent us needlessly wasting energy. But just as it backfired in our modern world of junk food and cheap entertainment, it'll backfire again with neural implants. Easy access to junk food takes away the work you once needed to get that many calories, and it ends up eventually making the majority of people overweight and unhealthy. Around 50 years after the rise of fast food in the 70s, and the population is far weaker, more cancerous, less capable physically than they once were. And by doing the same to complex thought and cognitive skills, by giving people chips that do it for them, we risk the exact same problems. A world of people made dumber because machines do the thinking for them. Even if brain chips do make us smarter overall though, it won't even be close to an equal spread. This technology isn't going to turn people into supercomputers overnight, but it does have real potential to destabilize the playing field. You can imagine delegating parts of your thoughts to AI using these chips. You could use the chip to instantly work out how to split the check at a restaurant or recall specific details that you can't quite remember. Later down the line, you can imagine people storing their memories and things they want to remember digitally, then calling back to them later on using the implants.
Because the International Monetary Fund has warned that 40% of all jobs around the world will be impacted by AI. It says the effect is even more pronounced in the developed world, where 60% of roles will be affected. According to the IMF, half of us will benefit from higher productivity, but the other half, the rise of AI could see lower salaries, reduced hiring, and even some jobs disappearing altogether.
You can do a lot of this with your smartphone already, but as the technology progresses, it will give people who can afford it a leg up on everybody else, making their IQ be slightly higher at all times than the rest of the population, giving them a huge advantage in almost every field you can think of, further isolating the elites from the rest. Because obviously, all the benefits of this technology won't go to the many, it will go to a very select few Silicon Valley titans who can afford it, allowing them to become symbiotic with AI, all whilst the rest of humanity suffers the consequences of the AI revolution. Even when it does eventually become accessible to the general population, those at the top will have been ahead for years. For the entirety of human history, the difference between the rich and the poor has been limited to external factors. Things like a better diet, education, and an easier, healthier lifestyle make a difference, but we're all still human. Given the most powerful people of all faster and more effective brains changes this dynamic forever. It'll make climbing up the ladder almost impossible because all the people above you are just inconceivably smarter using a brain chip in their mind, allowing them to have access to tools you could only imagine. A lot of this still sounds okay when it's in the hands of responsible people working towards the good of humanity, but what about when that doesn't happen? Well, it's a sad fact that the world is sliding towards autocracy and dictatorship. As of 2022, over 70% of the world lives under some kind of dictatorship, a statistic that's still growing today. We're seeing this rampantly across the world, and even authoritarianism within the US itself. And as we've been warned by books like 1984, which we did a huge video on, which you can check out here, I explain that we're now seeing 1984 in our own world. Dictatorships are happy to exploit the tools of control that technologies give them, just like a China or Russia's mass internet censorship, or their facial recognition cameras aimed at every street corner. As our lives get more and more intertwined with technology, the degree to which they can be controlled by outside forces only goes up. So what happens when we put technology straight into our brains? Well, there's a lot of disturbing possibilities. For centuries, authoritarian governments have dreamed of the ability to control the thoughts of their citizens. They could do it indirectly through propaganda, social pressure, and fear, but Neuralink and other technologies like it could make this a reality. Sure, we can only really read motor functions and basic commands like go up right now, but that's all gonna change very soon. To actually read our thoughts on a much deeper level, these chips and the computers they connect to need to be able to interpret what specific neurons firing in specific patterns actually mean. Even though we have around 100 billion neurons, this isn't as hard as it seems. Our current AI models, while limited in a bunch of ways, excel at sorting through and noticing patterns in massive databases. In fact, we already have AI models that can translate silent thoughts into words on a screen. Subjects wearing a special cap which monitors brain signals could see their thoughts expressed in front of them with up to 60% accuracy. They would read the sentence slightly and the AI could tell what the sentence was without any other input. Never mind reading people's texts and what they share with their phones, this technology could expand to actual mind reading in a few years rather than decades.
These neuroscientists at the University of Texas in Austin say they've made a major breakthrough. They've figured out how to translate brain activity into words using artificial intelligence.
And you can't expect dictators not to salivate over the idea of just this. It could give rise to the literal thought police, following up on tips given to them by the helpful AI watchdog reading people's brainwaves. If that's not a cyberpunk dystopia, I don't even know what is. Imagine a world where just thinking the wrong thing could get you jailed for hate speech. These are all problems for the future, but what about right now? We're already seeing some of the potential issues that these implants can create, even just as medical treatments. Retinal implants are similar to neural implants, but instead they act as a replacement for damaged optic nerves. It's an amazing technology which can give rudimentary sight to people that thought they had lost it forever. But some people who've had these implants had their sight cruelly taken away again. In one case, a woman received an optic implant to fix a genetic condition which made her blind, but 4 years later, it suddenly stopped working and shut down, plunging her back into darkness. The company who made the implant had completely stopped supporting it and weren't willing to help at all. Another company has recently taken up the technology again, so in this specific case, all hope wasn't completely lost. It won't be that way though all the time, and lingering questions about the difficulty of upgrade and the lifespans of implants still plague the industry today. And these are just some of the many problems that neural implants and this technology could bring to the world. But I don't want to go full on conspiracy mode, considering this technology has only just been tested out on humans. But we haven't even dipped into the problems with actual mind control, thought interference, and what it really means to be human. There's also other problems that we might not have any idea are on the horizon waiting for us. In our relatively free countries, we will be able to refuse the implant altogether. But how long can that last? We already saw the vaccine passports and how we were forced to have it by governments across the West. Especially for those of us who are unfortunate enough to live under real tyrants, that might not be the case. You might not have any choice but to have a government-mandated chip implanted into your skull. But even in developed democracies, we must be wary not to sacrifice any more of our freedoms for the latest technology, as we might never get them back.
All right. See, that's crazy. All right, that's crazy, man. Real shit. Let's see if we can't. I'm gonna try to. I mean, okay. So they want to destroy all freedoms. Okay, that's That's crazy. But yeah, that's basically what this devil wants to do. This is him. Neuralink. Yep. Yep, this is what he want to do. Okay. All right. Let me go to Revelation chapter 13, verse 16. You know where I'm headed. You know, this motherfucking Esau, Edom is something else. Right? Right. Okay. Revelation chapter 13, verse 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. And the image of the beast is America. Right? Through their digital technology. You know, cashless society. That's the image of the beast. Because the beast is Rome. And in order to become a Roman citizen, you had a lot of Roman citizens 2,000 years ago that would cut themselves as to what their owner would be, who their owner was, like they would cut into themselves like a tattoo, right? As far as the Roman army, or as far as the gladiatorial competitions, as to which gladiator faction they belong to, right? And he had power to give life into the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, right? And the image of the beast is speaking right now. They're talking about, you just heard it speaking, right? They want to make it mandatory, a government mandated brain chip installed in your fucking head, right? So they can keep track of your thoughts. Come on. What are they going to do? Put you in jail? So, right? And cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And how they're going to cause you to be killed, okay, is that you're no longer able to participate in the cashless society, okay? You'll be ousted, or you'll be ostracized from society as a whole. You won't be able to go and buy and sell. All these homeless people, you're going to become one of the homeless people. You're going to go from apartment or house and car and a job to nothing. Pushing a bike and a fucking basket, trying to find and scrounge off the land whatever you can find to eat to survive. Okay? This is what it means by as many as would not worship the image of the beast or participate in the cashless society should be killed, or should be cut off, ostracized, where they can't participate, where they can't buy and sell. Verse 16, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond. That's everybody. Okay, doesn't matter if it's small or great. You'll be a rich movie star, or a millionaire, or Tom, Dick, and Harry and Sam Sausage at the job. Rich and poor, free and bond. It doesn't matter if you're free on the street, if you're a prisoner in prison right now, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save that he had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of the name of his name, which are all one and the same. Okay? Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for is the number of a man. The man was born on the 6th day, right? And his number is 666. Okay, now I speak as a man, but let me see if I can find Salakia. Let me see. Oh, there I had it. There it is, right there. Boom. Right. I mean, man would not be able to buy or sell save that he had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name in his right hand or in his forehead, right? But what does Revelation 14 say? Verse 9, doom for the worshippers of the beast. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the image, the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. Okay? So if you take either one of these in order to participate in the cashless society, willingly, okay, you're going to be destroyed by the Son of God when he gets here. That's a bad idea. I ain't, why would you want to do that? That's fucking suicidal. This is what the World Economic Forum wants for you. Okay? This is what they want. World Economic Forum says CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, must be implanted under your skin if you want to participate in society. Okay? This is what these devils want, man. They don't give a shit about you. All they care about is control. And that's where they want to put it in your hand. And you saw on the video where they want to put it in your head. So they can control your thoughts and control everything about you. Right? You're going to have your digital central bank digital currency, which is the bribe, okay, for taking the mark of the beast. Okay? It's going to have your digital identification, okay, who you are, where you live, where you work, and then it's going to have your medical records. You see what I'm saying? See how that works? 666. They all pertain to a man. You see what I'm saying? This is the mark of the beast, the MOTB. You cannot, I repeat, you cannot repent after having received it. Okay? There's no repentance for that, man. What are you going to do? You know how many people are going to compromise on this thing? They're going to do by any means necessary, man. This is what I meant about Karoks. They were in a stake or an imprinted stamp showing ownership. You see? See how they tattoo shit? That's how they used to do it back in the day. They used to tattoo, the ownership of their slave masters. You see what I mean? Mark of the Beast is the RFID chip, right? Okay. So anyway, I just wanted to let you know what was going on with that, man. Anyway. Edom figures prominently in the prophetic scriptures as the scene of great future judgments. Okay? She is the only neighbor of the Israelites who was not given any promise of mercy from God. Who? Edom. Okay? See? And this is the reason why they never talk about King David in church. They never talk about King David in church. The kingdom of Edom was founded during the 13th century B.C., before Christ era, right? According to archaeological evidence, in the process of about 4 centuries, the government of Edom changed from under tribal chiefs to a monarchy. Saul fought against the Edomites, 1 Samuel chapter 14, verse 47. But David conquered them and put garrisons throughout the whole land, 2 Samuel chapter 8, verse 14. What is a garrison? Right? Garrison's like a fort. The modern day fort is a military base, right? Judah lost Edom in the reign of Jehoram when she revolted against him about 847 BC, which goes into the biblical prophecy of Genesis chapter, goes into the deal of Genesis chapter 27, verse 38, I think it is. Here, look, let me see. Let's go see. Genesis 27. Verse 38, and Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, O my father? Bless me, even me also, my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above, and by thy sword thou shalt live, and shalt serve thy brother. Who was Esau's brother? Jacob. And Jacob had 12 sons, who are the 12 tribes of Israel, right? And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. Okay? You will live by your sword and you will serve your brother, but when you decide to break free, you will shake his yoke from your neck, right? And from that time on, Esau hated Jacob because their father had given Jacob the blessing. And Esau began to scheme, right? It is not Esau, Edom, right today, still plotting and scheming to destroy the children of Israel on a global scale. They just enacted national emergency out of nowhere based on these tariffs that this motherfucker, he's doing this deliberately on purpose, man. See, they know that the Israelites are waking up to the fact that they are the Israelites of the Holy Bible. They know it, okay? And they're trying to ostracize America so this way America will fall into the biblical prophecy of being destroyed by the heathen nations by thermonuclear destruction. That way, they're in their eyes, they're killing two birds with one stone. They're getting rid of Esau. Edom is getting rid of Jacob, who's been a thorn in his side, okay, for decades, and simultaneously, all the heathen nations, they get to get rid of the Israelites, where they could go back to trying to build the Tower of Babel, where everybody is one nation, okay, one nation, one government, one people, right? Okay, hold on, where was we at? Okay. Yeah, and that's basically what they're trying to do. They're trying to build up, right, a beast system. One world government, one world religion, artificial intelligence, digital currency, social credit scores, personalized QR codes for identification, 15-minute cities, food rationing, lab-grown babies with modified DNA, and transhumanism, a system that leads to the complete control of the masses. This is the beast system that they're setting up. Okay? Okay? And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father at hand, then will I slay my brother Jacob. Okay? From that time on, Esau hated Jacob because of their father had given Jacob the blessing. And Esau began to scheme. I will soon be mourning my father's death, but then will I kill my brother Jacob. And they've been doing it ever since, man. Okay? This is the wickedness of these fucking people, man. They don't care. Okay? They want you destroyed by any means necessary. This is it. See that? See that? Zoom in for you. Try to zoom in. It's virtually impossible. Won't let me. See that? That's what they want to implant underneath your skin in order to, for contactless payments, the future of payments. And see, by, what they're bitching about these student loans, starting May 5th, coming against everybody that has a student loan, okay? Because I paid off my student loan years ago. But they're going to come back with some new bullshit and just to have another reason to garnish my check, That was the lie that I was told, that if you get a college degree or whatever have you, then you can have the white picket fence, buy a house, buy a car, buy a truck, have a good family, and send your kids to college and all this other bullshit. I was told the same fucking lie. You know what I mean? But I just wanted just a small technical degree, because I knew that I'd never be able to reach the pinnacle of success in America as a so-called Negro or black man, right? But this is what they want, man, the future payments, okay? And they want you to be a participant. And if you don't participate, they just cut your ass the fuck off. They don't care, okay? So that's it. Just thought I'd try to tell you, or, I thought I'd land back on the brother's video and put in some extra scriptures. All praises to the Most High, Yahawah, YAHAWAHSHI, HaMashiach. Shalom.